It's a divine union, the marriage now of male and female, and no judgment on gay people, women, men. We're finding now the laws are changing. We can have marriages and partnerships of two gay people. And so the world's shifting out of that old judgment, condemnation and shame of being different. And people, we're just seeing each one of our other human beings as, perfect in whatever unique way we present ourselves. We're all souls just having an experience. So just opening our hearts now to love and seeing the innocence of all souls. We're just little children of God, the source, and we can all just love. Let the past go now. Any awful experiences you may have had, you chose that experience. You've never been a victim. And once you accept that responsibility and let any trapped emotions, any old anger, resentments, and you may have been terrorized, you may have been persecuted, and sometimes it's harder when you decide you're going to come and have these experiences. It's harder to play the baddie than the goodie. And so it takes a great soul to love you enough to play the bad person. And I know when my first husband died, I was talking to a medium, and she says, so Terry's here, and he's saying, I experienced him as very challenging, and he died of sclerosis of the liver. He was very domineering, very 6'2", very masculine, but he loved me so much that he wanted me to ignite my feeling. I'd lost my expression. I'd given up in my previous lifetime. So he was here to make me so angry, to get in touch with my primal rage. He certainly did that. I kept quiet for 15 years, and then one day this rage just came up, and I picked up a bottle and started hitting him over the head. And a voice said, if you hit him again, you'll kill him. I dropped the bottle. And so he served me, and I didn't see it at the time, but he did that out of intense love for me as a soul. So often we don't get the full picture. We don't get the full perspective of what is really going on. So, but when you see all sides of the story, and his agreement to help me, and my mother to terrorize me and bait me until I got really angry and said, well, I'll show her, I'll make something of myself. So no judgment. It's both of you agreeing to have that experience. And honestly, when you don't have to punish yourself anymore, because I was really punishing myself, feeling I'm unlovable and unworthy, and not liking myself, it's sort of like a self-hatred, then you draw in people to punish you. And so now I don't need that anymore. Nobody comes into my life to do that now. I just attract loving people because that's where my vibration has risen to. So if you see it like a radio frequency or scales, we're all at different levels of consciousness. And so we can start off feeling, unlovable and unworthy. And this is the biggest challenge in the universe, to come here forget everything, experience the darkness, feeling separate, how it is to be unlovable and unworthy, and then to rise up through the ranks, through the vibration. So then you can become a major wealth of information. And that's a very valuable commodity to have. So you can then help people evolve, because you can relate to every experience, because you've had it, you've been there. You know what it's like to be stuck, being afraid of, I was afraid of my first husband, and so full of fear that I just couldn't leave. It was like I was paralyzed. And then just one morning a voice said, it's time to go. You know, he's going to burn the house down. And 2 years later, his house burnt down. And so I just thought, I have to get my children out of there. So we're having these experiences, and there's no good or bad. It all just is. It's only our judgment. He's bad, she's good, he's wrong, you know. No judgment. And so he had really a hard journey, but it benefited me immensely to wake me up and find my rage, which now has turned into creativity. You know, because I'm not afraid of my rage now, because there's no build-up. I've released everything. And so, you know, we can thank people that we think are our enemies, or we might stay in a lifetime of hatred, but that's really not the case. So forgiving, or letting go, really, it's nothing to forgive. But there was one lady, an old Indian lady, I think she was, you know, 65, 70, and she'd been forced into a marriage in India, an arranged marriage, and her husband had been dead for 20 years, and she was still angry and resentful. And I had a talk to her, and she got this. I explained to her, well, he's been dead for 20 years. You're not punishing him. You're really destroying the rest of your life by being angry and bitter. When she came out, she was smiling like a 2-year-old child. And her family said, what on earth did you do with her? And she said, well, we just let go of the anger and resentment of the arranged marriage. And that was years out of her life. Years out of my mother's life, hating my father. And so it's just a waste of energy. It takes a lot of energy to be angry and resentful and pointing the finger. You're a bad person, I'm the good person. No, we're not good or bad, we're just people experiencing different polarities. So do take that into consideration and really start honoring the feminine, honoring the male, and bringing love and acceptance into our relationships. You know, it's all just misunderstandings that happen, and we're all looking through a filter of what happened to us previously. So once we can let go of the emotional charges around that, we can love everybody. Really, we can love everybody. And just seeing the innocence in each person. And then we come back on the path of love and joy to live an ennobled life, a life of joy. That's what we were all destined to have. But I'm glad I went down to the depths and experienced the darkness, experienced hatred, experienced wanting to kill my first husband. I did, I really did. And now I know that was an experience, and that's where it can take you to if you have repressed hatred and anger. So, but then a wonderful experience to come out of that and to then live in love and joy. So let's honor each other and be kind and compassionate and find our joy and love again.